Hi there, precious treasures. I was about to type this all out and I thought, forget it, I'll do a video. Happened to have a moment. The children are happy. Hubby is happy. So why not take the moment, right? I would turn it around and away from me, but I am in a weird room today. um, this one's good. I see art, and we have to see it in ourselves. It was the hardest one for me. Maybe it is for you as well. If you're having that feeling, please love yourself the way we love you. Honestly, if you think about the people that do love you, and if you think about the good people in your world that accept you just the way you are, love yourself the way we love you. Love yourself the way you love everyone else, right? Or the ones you love. Maybe you don't love everybody as much as I do, which just gets us hurt. I get that. So we closed down. Again, if not for my entire journey, I would have closed down. So me, I love first, and then somebody hurts me, and I give them a couple of chances, but not as many anymore. One or two, own up to your stuff, and if you can't, that's your own stuff. I still accept, I still love, you're still amazing. I think nothing less in this manner and in this state of who I am right now. I can be nothing less than that. Even the person that has hurt me the worst, there is no anger, there is no remorse, there is no sadness, there is no anything held anymore. It is possible, okay? But that was a lot of inner heart work, deep inner work, right? And to look at it, even though it didn't feel like art, especially those hard ones, they don't feel like art. I get that. The war, the ugly, if you will. At the same time, I'm reminded of a song that clearly states, don't trust a perfect person and don't trust a perfect song or something to that degree. Even the best paintings have an imperfect spot or 3 or 4. When it's too perfect, it's not natural. It's man-made. Or better, it's machine-made. Man-made is still has some imperfections because from organic items. You're talking polymers and a machine making it. Obviously, there's going to be less mistakes, but even then, those happen, right? So, whatever. What was I going to talk about? Oh, I was going to write about it and offer an article that goes with it that talks about keeping our energy in on the level of when we're intimate with our partners, even intimate with ourselves for that matter, for those that are single. To be a sexual being is okay. All animals are. We are animal also, right? And we're from Earth. So on this level of being in full embodiment, when one is completely one with themselves and one with everything, everything is stimulated. The heart chakra, the connection of the center space. I shared the article about those chakras, right? So I don't even want to call them chakras, and I've been calling them centers because it's more our center spaces. So when it's coming out of our lower areas, and our heart and our head instead of all of the chakras, right? But those that haven't shut off those chakras, you're going to get stimulation in all areas when you are in meditation, when you are open. So that image that keeps getting shared as well, that is in the article about the um, lower areas being a strong energy point, and then the heart area being the strongest in mine somehow. It shows, in a picture on size, but you also have to know your own. And of course, my mind is firing. The pineal gland crystal area is that main source and what is actually also, connected to all those other three places. So they're all working in synergy. When we haven't closed off those chakras, the synergy is happening with all the chakras. And then the cone, so many people talk about energy vampires. Um, it's because you're even open to allow them. So when we shut them down, we are not shutting ourselves off from the world like a wall, which is what it felt like sort of to me when I started shutting them down. But what I noticed is less in the sexual chakra area. At the same time, once I am really good in flowing in all manners, it's still all on a synergy level of the body, it's still happening, even with that chakra shut down. And even every time that it starts to annoy me, I shut it down again and shut it down again because our body is in habit once we start shutting these down. It very much like a phantom limb when it's removed out of habit, things, whatever. Well, the same thing happens, say, if you have anxiety and your heart starts pounding in the not comfortable way. The thalamus, is part of the role too. So sometimes when that thalamus is thumping, that is you awakening that area. That doesn't necessarily mean it's anxiety too. Each thing kind of means something different, but those that are in an anxiety level, they can close down that chakra, that green chakra that is loving too much. I'm giving all of my power away to this person that hurt me, and I'm loving too much that I worry about what they think of me. I worry about how they view me. I worry, why haven't they called? Why aren't they in my life? Why did they leave? Was it my fault? All of those kind of, even just saying those things is making my heart kind of go doom, doom, doom. The more that we do that, the more that our heart does that because we're focusing there. When in fact, if we just stood silent and closed down that area and then lit up our inner light, all of that feeling changes within moments. Did you feel that? I was just using an example of how I used to be, really, and how I hear other people often, like often, and lots of people in lots of directions. They speak like that every day about themselves, about other people. I used to do it and feed the very thing I didn't want over and over, right? But then when I just stood still, empty of everything that was not mine to hold, who cares what someone else thinks of us? See these memes all the time. Why is this? Why is it none of our business what someone else thinks of us? Because as long as you're rocking you in pure integrity and authenticity, intents to just be you, then there's nothing to worry about. If someone else took offense, heard it wrong, is upset by, or otherwise, that's not your stuff. It's theirs. So if it's none of your business and you're just like, whatever, it can't hurt. Whatever. Right? Okay. So back to this keeping our energy in on during intimacy with self or others. Um, the Egyptian symbol of going up, going around the head, staying in, not the cone up and out. Crown on, fine, but not up and out. You have your crown still on your level of your crown area and your pineal gland and all of that, but you've shut it down for just you. That's the trick right there. You only. Because that other was fed to then have energy all they want. But when you keep that energy in or around you, it's different. So, upon orgasm, it sounds so weird to be saying this on video. It would be much easier to type it. This entire teaching thing is weird to me. I'm just now at acceptance. This is teaching. I'm going to view it as sharing. I'm learning a whole bunch as well along the way through every experience. So, how can you teach if there's never an ending of learning. It was always why I paused. Conversations about sex is easy for me. I can do sex therapy in groups. I can do couples counseling. I'm able to do those things where I sit in my world. It's not an area I'm gonna head. At the same time, I can speak about it openly and honestly and not have embarrassment. A lot of people have a hard time discussing this kind of a subject. Reading something is not as easy as this visual level of communication. Is the only reason why I thought, why not? As on the concept of the orgasm, if you allow your full orgasm, then you drain of your power. When you hear the tantric sex level of yoga and holding it in, if you will, holding that orgasm in, holding in your power, because that's a big power release. So then it tires us often. But then it's an unusual reaction because some actually get a boost after, but then it drops fast. So when you keep it inside, you allow it to go up the body, right? And around, just like the Egyptian symbol, and then the two arms, if you will, out, much like the cross, but it has this round thing. You go back down and you hold that circuit, and you just keep holding that circuit, and you just keep holding that circuit. That's you keeping it in and building it in a healthy way. But more importantly, it's just the same way Tesla did with his pieces for harnessing the energy and replicating and keeping it going, as opposed to lights out for just a little bit and then it feels good because all those feel good chemicals. We can still have all those feel good chemicals and not give away more of your power, and you're just giving it away. This level of the cones, when people say energy vampire, a lot of times it's not somebody sucking. Are there a few out there that purposely do it? Yes. Yes, there are. Very far and few between. Even know how to, for one. And the ones that are accidentally doing it, possibly, are still far and few between. Beyond the ones that are the negative, negative nillies, right? Negative, negative. They're sitting there sucking energy, right? If we allow it, we can stop that flow. And that cone is not out and allowed. Nope. It's not doing you any good. If you need to talk about it, great, you talk about it. But I don't have to hold or play that role. They can still share, and I'm still empathetic without allowing the flow out. So truly, any energy vampire, you're only allowing it. So in that moment, even the ones that are doing it on purpose, you can stop that flow instantly. Pure intent. Turn, you can cover the space. You can wear a belt. You can put on a shield, visual, otherwise, right? A belt buckle. Think about that for just a minute. Especially if it's made out of metal. It's a shield. Right at cord area. And if an energy vampire is going to do that, they are working in this cord area. Okay? And some aren't doing it on purpose. They don't even know they're doing it, some. But they're not everywhere, right? So, again, they cannot take something that we don't allow them to give. And they're only doing that because they don't know their own power or don't have it because they're dark. I get that. They are out there. I don't want to lie. The more we rev up our own energy, the better off we are. The more we learn how to deflect our own stuff for our own benefit. This is shown in cartoons, and I find this absolutely fascinating every time my children do this. It will often coincide on that synchronicity level with something I'm talking about online, which blows me away often. Even yesterday's, I'm just like, really, it's Twilight Zone music should be entered. Like, seriously, even in cartoons. I will be on a phone having a conversation, and my son will be watching My Little Ponies, and I will be speaking on something to do with, and I will hear a rainbow bright, da 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 da, and it coincides. This Pokemon one, the most recent one, they were showing how they were dueling, both on the good side, if you will, but they were practicing in dueling, ironically, about replication, but as well this mirroring for the deflecting. They're showing it in this mystical, there's energy moving, light energy moving around. But we can do that on a visual level. And think about these cartoons teaching all these kids, right? Because your parents really don't know what's going on. So those of us that do, we're going to make these really cool shows, and we're going to make a whole lot of money off of it. Obviously, they do, between the shows and the games and the cards. But they're all sharing the message of what I've been sharing. And if not for having children that have these same interests or understandings or understandings, they wouldn't be showing me these things. There are literal video games that take one through the entire experience of what I teach people. Every lesson learned is sitting on a video game that you have to pass each test and each thing that I had to pass along the way. My son made a point to share this video or this game with me intently, would not take no for an answer. And I as fast as my hands could keep up, wrote out what he was saying. Because at first, the first 3, 4, 5 steps, wait, dude, that sounds just like what I teach people. He's like, I know, Mom, listen. And of course, I'm all excited because he's like getting something that I have never talked to him about. I'm typing it out. I'm talking to friends on the phone, but he's behind a closed door most of the time, playing with on his, or watching a show or reading or listening to an audiobook. He's not hearing these conversations, but yet he's connecting these things. So blown away, I start writing them all out, and every single step that I had to take, which means this other person has taken it and has made this video game in the meantime. That's how many people, and it keeps growing exponentially, right? That's the whole point of all of it. And why? To show one more so that it grows and continues to grow exponentially. That's the whole point, right? I'm going to get the name of that video game. He'll know right away and post it. I've never played it. I've never watched him play it, but he did it from start to finish, and he had to get it out exactly the order, and it was all the exact order of every test I had to have or had to face. So it will help, right? It's helping these children underlying in a playful, fun way, the way life should be, right? I just wrote this out in a little poem this morning, right before I started this. That's the part that I haven't started yet, and I'm finally letting that part out. I've had spurts of it, the laughter, the relax. You've worked your ass off, Tracy, and you did a lot of work, inner work. Celebrate, have some fun, love life, giggle, laugh, be silly. Do these kind of videos, which I kind of wanted to do at the beginning, but I was getting used to even being on film, right? Excuse me. The last of whatever that pressure and everything is finally like leaving out of me, which I'm thankful for. It's a little confusing, I have to admit, because each time I think, wow, I can't get any more open. Ooh, and then something else changes and I get a little bit more open. Well, of course, your growth is going to keep going. Today's experience, or yesterday's experience of getting back to normal size again, was very interesting. The pressure, when it comes, if it comes, maybe you don't have that to experience. It's definitely not across the board. It depends on where everybody is. Some are already open and didn't have anything to heal from. How awesome is that? The pressure was just immense, and I felt it and been aware of it before. So it was easier to like allow it to just go down and out my feet, down and out my hands. It's like very much like being birthed. It has to slowly, and it did my eyes, and it had to slowly go down. I have a little bit left of a cold that happened right before. Obviously, something left to let go of, or that I regathered. Maybe it's a constant shedding. I don't know. It just was what it was. It started with our youngest and moved to me, then the eldest. Anyways, to notice that I was shrinking back down to normal size the day that I discovered, I woke up feeling taller. My feet felt longer, but they still fit in my shoes. But I was taller. The couch was further away. The cabinets were further away. And when I was standing outside, just letting more of that flow through, all of a sudden I was back on this normal. I feel normal again. The couch is normal again, and distance, whatever. It was very weird. He explains very well in that book, so I'm going to take a picture of it and share the craziness that it sounds. Even me experiencing all of it, it's still impossible to express, and it sounds a little nutty. But I'm telling you, he explains it all. He even talks about how plastic will just disintegrate into nothing, and earth homes, and like more and more people are getting away from the plastic. And even if we do have plastic, we're making it into something else. So it doesn't matter. We're disintegrating it and we're creating something else with it. That's freaking awesome. So in this book, which was written back in 2000, he's not only speaking on the disintegration of our old inside, but the old of outside, including these changes that we'll feel in our body and these ascension symptoms. And since that all happened, the pressure and all that, now that it's gone, everything is that much more crystal clear. And it was already clear before. Now it's like effortless clear. There's no doubt, there's no fuzzy, there's no nothing. And each time it feels this way. So I find this fascinating. Like, how much more clear can it get? Maybe there is a stopping point on that. Seriously, it's the cleanest it's ever been. Sound, the sound off the crystals, the sound off of silence, all from turning inward. It was a pleasure to be able to show another person, and his experience was amazing. He did amazing. And that means one more out there on our side. If you're interested in learning, I'm right here. Don't let currency stop you. All right? Don't let that happen. I spoke about this, and I'm going to share it, obviously, because I'm speaking about it. Would I like to be making currency for this? Sure. For those that can afford it, great. For those that can't, I don't want you left out just because you can't or think you can't. And that's the only reason why you can't. It's because you think you can't. That's the important one. My son always does this. I catch myself. Uh, anyways, I love it when he does it. It's actually this hand. And I've caught it a few times on video. It's the most darling thing. So anyways, you'll learn that along the way, and maybe you pay me back another time later. Maybe you pay it forward. Either way, it's your karma, and it will be yours, and I'm not holding anything. If that's the reason you're pausing because you think you have to pay me, don't worry about that right now, okay? The more of you that learn this, the better off humanity is. The more of you that learn a direct path in that can know yourself, that you turn and you love yourself and you discover yourself, that's what's important, okay? If you want to trade me something later or make a donation later, great. That will be your karma. As for mine, my only reason is for humanity, for you, which then helps humanity. The universe takes care of me, just as it is taking care of you. And the more you get more self-aware of yourself, the more that you change your world. And then you change our world. Because you place intents for awesome things outside of you after you've placed them inside. And a lot of women, I'm hearing this over and over, a lot of women are having a hard time quieting their mind to get anywhere in quote-unquote meditation. These techniques are very specific, and it takes you straight into a space. It allows that archer level in. And then once we know, then we can be our feminine all over the place self. Okay? But if we don't have that direct line in, and if not for that, I might still be bouncing. Before I met my teacher, I did bounce and see some amazing things. I remember the most clear one that I had that scared me, which is stupid, and I've said this on other videos, but I want to repeat it because it was so amazing. So stupid it scared me to open my eyes. Like, what? It felt like they were in the room with me. There was thousands of monks sitting in meditation with candles in between. I could see the contours of their face, the ones in front, and their robes, every groove. And then as far as my eye could tell, there was that many people. It felt as if they were all meditating at the same time I was. That's what it felt like in an instant. But then it was, whoa, it shocked me. And then when I closed my eyes, oh, I want to get back there. I couldn't get back there. Those kind of things were happening to me before I met my teacher. After learning these simple techniques that take about 20 minutes, depending on how many you learn at once, about 20 minutes per each one approximately. Once you learn them, then you can practice on your own and you can do it all you want, anytime you want, okay? So again, don't hesitate. Right now, the way the planets and everything, this is an ideal time. I can fit it in different parts of my day, when my husband's home, etc. Let's do this now, okay? Don't keep waiting. If your heart's been telling you to, do so, okay? Trust your lead. Trust yourself. And thank you for trusting me, okay? Several of my friends want to, and they say, I don't have time. Make the time for you. Because once you're shown in one session, you get to do it whenever you're able, all throughout the day, when you have the moments, which is ideal for a busy mom, for a single mom, for a mom that's working outside the home, for a mom that's staying in the home. It is ideal for us women just as much as the men, so that they can take care of their family and be the warrior, for each of you to be the warrior you are. That's why I keep saying I'm right here, okay? And I want to line this up for you, all right? I'm here for you. On that note, I think I've talked enough. Back to my day. I'm probably going to post this today. Edit sounds, me being me. I like it. I'm having fun. This is the part that excites me the most. The painting, all of the other that I do for fun. This excites me the most. It excites my heart the most. Because I know it's going to help humanity. It's the best of psychology mixed in with neuro-linguistic programming and cognitive hypnotherapy that allows you to meditate in your deepest sacred spaces. It allows you to go from 3D to 4D to 5D, and as well from 3D to 1D, or 2D and then 1D. It allows you those dimensions. And yes, there's more. But as with all growth, slow and steady. Okay, so anyways, some might not understand that right now, and that's okay. Math has changed. 3D CAD programs have changed. Now in our 5D world, a lot of us, some in 4D still, they're able to look at and create things in 3D. Okay? So it's all around us happening. Of course, it's going to happen within. And all those layers are in, but then there's that one door that allows you to be one with everything. Anyways, much love, precious treasures. I see art, and I know more are seeing it too.